right, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about a VLookup. Now, a lot of times you'll have data that looks something like this. Now, this is not a lot of data. This is a very small number of students, but you could have pages and pages of students. You have their ID number, their last name, their grade. And let's say you want to take information from this other tab here in my spreadsheet, which has all of the students' current grades, but only their ID numbers, and you want to add it to the correct student. And sometimes when you do that, a lot of people will do this manually. They'll go through, find it, enter the information. As long as you have it in a spreadsheet, you don't have to do that. So let's talk a little bit about what the VLookup is. First of all, the concept of a VLookup means a vertical lookup. It means that I'm going to take some information from a particular cell in my spreadsheet, and I'm going to go to another spreadsheet, and I'm going to look up vertically, up and down, within a column for that information. When I find that information, I'm then going to return something else to the cell where I'm entering my formula. So you'll see here I have the formula written out on the screen. You start with an equal sign in Google Sheets, and then you do VLookup. If you are an Excel user, this formula is identical in Excel as well. The way you handle it will basically be the same too. So we start with VLookup. That means vertical lookup. You open a parentheses, and the first thing here, this is what you're looking for. So in the case of this one, this example, I'm looking for the information that I find here in cell A2. So I'm looking for that information, and where I'm looking for that information is the next part of the formula. And I'm looking for that in my grades tab. That's this tab here. And I'm looking for it in columns A, B, or C. Right now, I'm putting the entire list. So I'm going to look for 1002 in A, B, or C. You have to have it in the first column. So whatever I'm looking for here doesn't have to be in the first column. But where I'm looking for it has to be in the first column because that's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to return something else. So I am looking for what I find in A2 here, in column A here. But I need where I'm looking at to extend out to C because depending upon what number I put in the next one is what it's going to return for me. So when you're putting in the next part of your VLookup formula, it's a 4-part formula, you're actually going to put the number of the column you're looking for. So in this case, I'm looking for 1001 in column A, and I want to return what's found in column 2, which is here the English grade, based upon the student ID number. Now, the last part of this formula kind of doesn't make any sense. So you're going to want to always use false as the last part. False means it is only going to return the information if what is in A2 matches something exactly in column A of your lookup side of the sheet you're looking up from. So if you put true, it's actually going to go for something that sort of looks like it, and you don't want that because that's not going to give you accurate information. It could work in some situations. There are absolutely situations where you're not trying to get exact data like something like student grades, where true might be useful for you. But in this case, where you're doing very specific data that you want to match very specifically, you're going to put in false. And so what that will do is look for this information in this column, column A here, and return whatever column you put. So watch, let's do this. So we're looking for the English grade here. And we're going to go equals VLookup, open your parentheses. We're going to click on A2 because that's what we're looking for. Put a comma. Go to the place we're looking for the information and highlight. So we have grades, exclamation point, A:C, comma. We're going to return the English grade here. So we want column 2. And then we're going to enter false. And when we go back after we hit the enter button, you'll see here Michael Scott's grade, student number 1001, is a 95 in English. If you go back, this is a small amount of data, so it's easy to spot check. 1001 has a 95 in English. Now, the nice thing about a VLookup is in this case, you can just drag it down and you can see here that we are matching that data. Now let's take a look. We want to do the math grade. So we're going to again do equals VLookup, open our parentheses, what we're looking for, go back to grades, highlight all three. In this case, we want to return what is found in column 3, that's the math grade, and then we enter false. And we can again drag this down, and you'll see here that it matches the information based upon this number here. Now let's say we had 1006, and we're looking for another student. If we drag this down, you're going to see here that an NA shows up. Because if you go back here to our grades formula, you will see that there is no student with an ID number 1006. So that's not going to show up in here. That's a great way to help you figure out where you have missing data or information that you don't have in your spreadsheet and you want to know where to look for that information. Now, the other thing that you want to be aware of is if you don't want this little NA symbol to show up here, there's a quick and easy fix for that. You're actually going to add in an if NA formula. So at the beginning of your VLookup, and actually I'm going to do this in the top one because we're going to drag it down and make it so that all of them go that way. So we're going to type in if NA, and we're going to open a parentheses around our VLookup. At the end of our VLookup, we're going to put a comma. We're going to enter 2 quotation marks, just empty, because that's how we get an empty return. We're going to close our parenthesis. Now, it didn't change anything in this one, because in this particular formula here, we already found the information. But if we drag it all the way down, what you're going to see here is that we now don't have that NA in there. We just have a blank. That's another way that you can handle it. Let's go ahead and adjust this one. I'm not a fan of the NAs, so I'm going to if NA this one as well, comma, 2 quotation marks, close my parentheses, and then I'm going to drag it down. Now, like I said, this is a very small amount of data here, so you could very easily do something with only 5 or 6 students by hand, but when you have hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of students within a spreadsheet and you want to be able to get the data from one spreadsheet to another without having to do it by hand, this is the easiest way to do it. VLookups are super simple once you get the hang of them and once you learn that process. So you always want to remember it is what you're looking for, where you're looking for it. Your first column must be what you're looking for, where that falls, the column number of the data you want to return, and then false to get your exact return information. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to have a Google form that you can submit your questions to regarding this particular practice of VLookups, and I can always maybe record another video in the future. I hope you find this useful. Have a great day.